Humans of the cardboard, welcome back to Just Nuts, guys. Today we're doing a video talking about upcoming decks that I am so freaking excited for. These are going to be my top 5 decks that pretty much we know have support coming, so I am just extremely pumped to actually get to try them out and use them with their new cards when they finally do come. And yeah, just my top 5 there. I want to hear your guys' thoughts down below. I think I definitely fall into this category. Maybe one of my biggest weaknesses as a Yu-Gi-Oh player, I'm always looking ahead. I'm always so excited about what's down the line that sometimes I can't even focus on like what's currently happening in the format, and sometimes it kind of takes me out of given formats, current formats, because I'm just too excited to like move on and like actually get to play other stuff. But that being said, I'm still super excited for these, so I want to know your guys' lists down below. What decks are you most excited to play when they get their new support? Let's hop into this thing. Oh, actually, before, let me give an honorable mention. Honorable mention, definitely Earth Machine for this list. They're getting the like random Earth Machine support card that's like a Floodgate, a Searcher, and it like buffs your stats, or lowers your opponent's stats and buffs yours. I believe it's coming in like the Brothers of Legend this year, as well as Trains are confirmed for more support in Selection 5 in the OCG. We'll get those eventually, so that's probably my honorable mention, but I can only do 5 here. So first and foremost, here we go. Sky Striker. You know, I'm not the biggest fan of Sky Striker, all things considered. But you know what? I do really like... Well, okay. I'm not the biggest fan of Sky Striker because every single time Sky Striker has performed well in the last, like, year and a half, it's been because they're playing, like, 8 copies of Mystic Mine. Maybe not every single instance, but a lot of instances were just because, boom, just jammed hella Mystic Mine, and this is one of the best decks we've ever seen at abusing the card, and yeah. But outside of Mystic Mine, like maybe, I don't know, should we see a ban to Mystic Mine on the next ban list, which a lot of people are hoping for? It feels like, honestly, the only really big hit that Konami could do at this point with the ban list, as far as hitting stuff. Yeah, I really like the way Sky Striker plays. I've always liked the way Sky Striker plays. And they also have new stuff, which includes the new card. I think I just deleted it. Okay, Sky Striker Linkage. I deleted it, but it's whatever. It's like a quick play. It helps you just like cheat out a Sky Striker monster from your extra deck, which is just great. It's a consistency piece. One of the biggest weaknesses of Sky Striker is if you just cannot get to your extra deck, that card just really helps with you being able to actually play, which is awesome. So really big fan of that. On top of that, we have Selection 5, a really cool card, pack as well in the OCG. I mentioned it with the Trains at the beginning, but the only 2 archetypes they revealed so far that are guaranteed to get support in here is Trains and Sky Striker, which is really, really sweet. I don't know if they actually said how many cards each archetype will be getting, but I believe it's going to be at least 2. Oh yeah, so a total of 10 cards, 5 archetypes. I'm assuming that means 2 more Sky Striker cards. You never know. If they ban Mystic Mine, they could absolutely go a little bit harder on that if they want, but I'm excited to see it. And if Mystic Mine is banned, then I can play Sky Striker without feeling like a schlub for not playing Mystic Mine, because you're just playing a bad variant of Striker at that point. But yeah, Strikers, definitely in the list for me. Next up, we move to Scareclaw. Interesting one. This is kind of a new one. This deck gives me like hella Prank Kids vibes in the way that it plays, right? You have all these monsters. Most of them are just like do their own thing, but they're all just 1-card combos, right? Because they got their new Link 1, all you have to do is just normal summon any Scareclaw monster, and it allows you to go into their 1-card combo. I would say the ceiling for that combo is not quite as high as where Prank Kids were, but I do think the cool thing is that all of the monsters are extenders in their own right. They just say if you control a Scareclaw, summon them from the hand, which is great because when you saw multiple Prank Kids, unless you saw a poly card as well, it didn't always help you. Whereas in this deck, just seeing any other different name allows you to keep extending, make bigger boards, as well as just play through interruption. So you trade the 1-card combo power overall for like the ability to play through interruptions better, extend better, and go from there. So I really like that. And in Darkwing Blast, we actually get this card, which is Scareclaw Twin Saw. I believe it becomes like their best piece of interruption after that set drops. It's pretty much Icarus attack with an added bonus. It's tribute to Scareclaw, target 2 cards, destroy them. Sweet. Secondly, if a Link 3 or higher monster is on the field, you can banish this card from grave, then neither player can activate the effects of Link monsters on the field this turn. Also huge. I mean, that's matchup dependent for sure, but like imagine like just being able to like Icarus your attack, you're like in a close tight duel versus like Sprite, right? And then they clear your board. They are able to like play through you, and then like on a later turn when like the duel is really close, they literally start their turn, and you just start by going like Twin Saw effect Engrave. Yeah, no link monster effects this turn, and like you literally just turn off half their extra deck. As well as like Sun Avalon, Plant Sun Avalon's doing really well. Like just matchups like that is so cool. So I can't wait. I think this is a really cool payoff for that deck. I think it also can work with potentially Tri-Brigade, the Adventure Engine. We'll have to see what builds arise, but I do think this could be even a rogue deck right now, and I think it's even better in the next set. So pretty excited for that. Next up here is a weird one. You guys might not have expected this. I'm actually going Mykonko. I was not expecting this after we saw like the artwork for the Amazing Defenders deck build pack, but after seeing all three of the archetypes, I think my favorite one is definitely Mykonko. I think it's the most unique for sure, and I don't think it's particularly close. It is like a ritual deck that also makes use of a lot of equip spells, and not only equip spells, but like the kind of equip spells that I've dreamed of that are actually good cards. Not the least of which is Arabesque of the Mykonko. Really cool card. Kind of works similarly to the Infernoble Durendal card that searches, but you can equip it to any monster on the field, even your opponent's going second to search. Same thing with this. Equips to a monster, even your opponent's. Then it special summons a Mykonko from hand or deck, and then bounces the monster it's equipped to. So like it's literally a removal spell that also just summons a Mykonko straight from the deck. So if your opponent only has monster negates, this card is like insane into certain boards. But like a really cool extender, a really cool going second card, and just inherent card that plays going second, but also is just really good in the engine. I love cards that have like multiple utilities to them, and this card is great. But there's really cool things. I still have some questions about the deck for sure. Like, what do you play it in? I think Infernobles is a potential shell to play them in. Maybe it's another ritual deck combination. You combine it with like a different ritual deck. I'm not exactly sure yet, but I'm very excited to find out. So yeah, definitely my pick so far. I just think Rescue Ace is cool, but they seem super fragile. I need to see from the next two like support sets for them that they get like cards that like make me believe that they can like not just lose to like negating the set effect of like the big guy. And other than that, like, you know, they just need to play, right? And I don't want to like just get negated on him, impermed, veilered on him, and just literally go, oh, the duel is over now because I did nothing with my turn, you know. And then the Peruris are weird. It just seems like it's almost like a Zeus turbo deck, but like it activates a lot of effects, and it kind of goes minus just to get to like one big monster, which means you lose to like one superior piece of interaction, whether it's like a Dark Ruler no more, or you just like kind of just like turn off the entire board with one card. Like, I don't know, they just don't really seem to have ways to like play around that, but they are generic, they are splashable. We'll see if there's actually any legs there. But yeah, Mykonko definitely my favorite from the deck build pack, which takes us to number 3 here, Draco Slayers. These are actually getting support in Darkwing Blast in the form of, I think, 4 new cards, 1 each of a new Draco Slayer that represents like a pendulum form of like the True Draco monsters, as well as a new field spell. And speaking of which, the Majesty Maiden, one of these, just straight up searches any field spell in the entire game of Yu-Gi-Oh! It's kind of insane. This deck is really cool. What I'm most excited for is that this deck can be played in multiple ways, apparently. You can play it as a mid-range deck, which kind of fits more into like my style, or you could play it in a more just like kind of just go ham pendulum combo deck. We will see. A couple things to keep in mind though is just that like anti-spell still exists, and you just like can't play pendulum if people are going to have anti-spell on the side. It's just losing duels for no reason, but we'll see what happens there. But yeah, really cool. Then we move to number 2, or I guess number 4, structure deck, Forest of the Traptrix. Traptrix are, if you guys don't know, like literally one of my top 5 favorite archetypes of all time. I've always loved the way they play. I've loved a handful of their cards. I love Sarah. Something is so appealing to me about decks that play Link 1s, and I get it. Link 1s end up being some of the most broken extra monsters in the game just because they are so flexible. But that flexibility in like being able to like go in and out of play so easily just because all it takes is one monster on board really appeals to me, that style of play. And so I'm really excited to see, because I think Traptrix has a really solid core, couple really good main deck monsters, couple really good extra deck cards that they take advantage of already, whether it's Sarah, Redoer, Rafflesia, whatever, as well as some trap cards that they could improve if they want to. So I'm really excited to see. Hopefully we get maybe 1 or 2 new consistency cards, 1 or 2 new extender cards, 1 or 2 new end board pieces, and maybe some power creep on some of the trap holes, or maybe a way to make them faster. Maybe you get a normal trap that can be activated the turn you get it to hand. That way you can play going second with it a little bit better. Just something to think about. Not entirely sure where they're going to go with it, but it's a structure deck. So we've got somewhere between 6 and 8 cards probably coming. That is super, super hype, because a lot of the support that we've talked about here is like 1 to 4 cards, but this is like 6 to 8. Very, very excited to see where we go with trap tricks. It's very, like, the sky is the limit for this deck. I cannot wait. I think it's been a borderline like rogue deck. We just need to see Konami come through with like some sick support later on. And number 1 for me is Labyrinth. I know what you're saying, John. Labyrinth is coming out in a week. Or actually this week. Like, technically tomorrow, OTS stores will have it, and then by Friday, every store should have it. Hopefully, I hear you. I'm with you. I'm very excited for that. But let's be honest, this card is crazy. Lady of the Labyrinth. It's just like an in-archetype King of the Sky Prison that like is a quick effect, and like in archetype is like so crazy. This card is so cool. Stats are huge. Jumps on the board so easily. Really, really cool card. Cannot wait to play with this card. I think in grind games, this card just like goes crazy for sure. She's going to win a lot of duels. So I'm very excited to play with her. And also in Darkwing Blast, we also get this card, News Reporter of the Underworld, from the Underworld. She is a Link 2 who can reborn pretty much any fiend in the game from grave, which is really cool as well because the whole deck is fiends. So being able to get stuff back is pretty nice just by spamming. And other than that, I'm sitting here and I'm going, you know what else? We're starting reveals for Photon Hypernova, and we haven't really gotten anything except for the new Galaxy Eye support. So as what's been going on after deck build packs come out, usually the archetypes in them will get support in the next 2 waves of like core sets. So we could easily see another Labyrinth card or 2 in Photon Hypernova. So I'm also going to keep an eye on that because I think that could also, be very welcome. It's a deck I'm very excited about. You guys know I like trap decks. And I think this deck could be in that same tier range as like Dinomorphia. Doesn't have to be crazy, but like a respectable rogue deck that you definitely have to be wary of, even if you're a high-end competitive player. So I'm definitely excited to see what I can accomplish with them. But there you go. Those are my 5 decks: Labyrinth, Trap Tricks, Draco Slayers, Mykonko, Scareclaw, and Sky Striker. I think I actually put 6 on here without realizing it. I definitely did. Okay. And that includes Trains that doesn't even include Trains being an honorable mention. Whatever. These are all decks I'm excited for. It's technically 6 here. Apologies for that. I still want to hear your guys' thoughts down below. What decks are you most excited for? Because there's a lot of support coming. Of course. So let me know in the comment section down below. I'd love to hear your thoughts there, but I'm out of here for today. Thank you so much for watching. Subscribe if you have not yet and you want to see more stuff from me down the line. And I'll see you in the next one. Peace.